I just noticed you could. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Witches Winging It with me, Buffy, and my co-hostess with the most, my sister from another mister, my witchy poo, Jen. Jen, we're finally back on the air again.
We are. We're back.
Oh God, I never thought it was ever going to happen again. I really didn't. I just,
My
I missed
Monday
you
nights
so
have
much.
been
Good Lord,
lonely.
and lonely. This is how you know.
How you know
That
you're getting
we
older.
hang out way too
I
much
was
together.
lonely.
I was so lonely. It was so lonely and cold outside. Oh, I missed you. Eh, my goodness, we lost track of time. It's like I felt like there was something I had to do every Monday night, and it's like, oh dang it, we don't have another show, so I
Yeah.
don't know what I'm supposed to do with myself.
I know. I come home and I'm sitting here, and Bruce would look at me. He'd be like, "Don't you have a show?" And I'm like, "No." Keep rubbing it
No,
in.
stop, stop, Bruce. Well, this happens when you have uh podcasts like this,
Yeah.
between the technical difficulties, and then we've got lives outside of this, what you guys see. And sometimes there are times where we have to be with our family, or life's shit goes
Mm-hmm.
downhill. Dumpster fires happen, and
Have to
unfortunately
take
for us, it
time out
always
to
seems
adult.
to go in tandem with each other. Like we'll be fine, and then all of a sudden, bam, there we go again. Guess we're not doing another show tonight. Oh, okay. Oh well. But it's back to be. It's good to be back on the air again. It
Yes.
really really is. So,
Yeah.
what's new with you, ma'am? Anything
Not
new?
much. Uh, just same. Going to work, coming home. Um, Although the Friday night we did go out to Field of Screams.
How was it?
It was very nice. I will say this, not
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Most of them they seem to be the same
Uh huh.
anymore, and this one was very nice.
Okay.
Paved walkways all the way in.
Well, you
Then it
go.
like opened up. It almost reminded you of like a little cute town, the way the paving went off into like circles, and they had their
Mm-hmm.
little Field of Scream shop over here, and then they had a bar over here, and then they had like food truck alley over here, and
Oh, okay.
then there was games you could play, and then they had the four attractions,
Mm-hmm.
and it was really we had a good time. I will say, I did get scared. This was the first time in going to a haunted attraction that I was actually, Bruce and I were in the very front of the line. So we were
I
able
see.
to get a lot more of the jump scares. And I
Yep.
wasn't all in the back, like, you know, okay, I just seen him jump out and he scared that person. So I know where he's at. So I just walk on by because I'm like, I already know you're there. And they're putting jumping
I
out for
already know
me.
you're
Okay,
there.
thanks. But so no, we were in the front and I got quite a few jump scares. I will
Okay.
say this: this is the first time I've ever gone to one, and in
Mm.
several of the buildings, one, it's a great place to go.
Uh-huh.
If you have trouble with stairs, you might want to
Okay.
ixnay.
Oh,
I
okay.
did
Lots
not
of stairs.
know. Oh yes, I there was I think they have like one that was called the Asylum, and then there was something else, and it was I didn't see any signs anywhere that said anything about going upstairs and like the steps and stuff. But there was three sets of pretty steep
Mm.
stairs, and
Oh.
I'm just like looking at first, and he's looking at me because he's in front, and he turns around, and he goes, "There's stairs. Are you going to be okay?" And I'm like, because I have two bad knees, and I'm like, oh my
Right.
gosh, I was like, well, I said, I'm going to be right behind you. I was like, but if you feel me lagging behind, I said, you better give me a couple of pulls and get me up there.
Jesus.
But
Carry me
so there
piggyback,
was
Bruce.
that. There was areas where you had to like really duck down real low and like bend to
Mm.
get through like tiny like holes.
Mhm.
And then there was rooms that you walked into, and the floor legit moved. So like you're trying to walk, and the floor itself is like swish swashing this way as you're trying to walk through.
Oh
And of course,
God.
they put that in the black and white checkered room with the strobe light and the guy that's wearing the black and white checkers and blending in with everything. So you're
Of
trying to
course.
get away from him. The floor's going this way. It was a hot mess. Rope bridges. It was crazy the things that they had, but it was a very good time. I got my
Okay.
money's worth out of it, and I told Bruce, I think I would go back. It was a pretty good
Good.
time. So that's what we
Good.
did Friday night.
Well, guess where we won't be taking Mama Dukes? Someplace that has stairs. I mean, I'm just saying, and swishy floors. We will not be doing movable floors or stairs.
Yeah, it was
Of
so
course,
funny because the room that Bruce went into first, when it first happened, I didn't know what was going on. A guy came out with a chainsaw and he kind of went at Bruce, and then Bruce kind of like stepped back a little bit, and I seen his one leg come up, and I'm like, what is he doing? I'm like, is he getting ready to like kick this guy? And then I walk out behind him and take a step, and that's when my feet are like, phew, and I was like, oh, I was like, now I know what happened. So
well,
it was a good time though.
we will not be taking Mama Dukes to any haunted houses because she has a tendency to like. She's one of those people when you scare her, the first thing she's doing is swinging.
Mm.
She's swinging and asking questions later, and we don't want Mama Dukes booked for assault on
Yeah.
anyone. I do have my hairdresser, good old Joel's. He works for Frightland
Oh,
at
nice.
night. So he's
I just
he's
heard
in full
from
swing.
yeah, I just heard from somebody the other day. They said that Frightland like redid a lot of stuff, and they
They
said it was
did.
definitely a lot different than what I would remember from the last time I went. So I said maybe
Right.
we'll go this weekend and see what they have.
I would love to do go to haunted houses. I just don't have any time anymore. Jesus.
I,
It's spooky season, so I'm booked and more booked. I'm quadruple booked, which is a good thing. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not complaining about that. But there I would love to be able to take spooky season and go out with people and have fun in haunted houses. I love a good haunted house. Um I love doing all kinds of crazy things. And now glutton for punishment, I think I may be booked for another something for a bingo in PA. They're looking for a tarot reader for their spooky bingo uh this coming weekend. So we'll see what happens.
hmm.
We'll see what happens. I don't know. It is what it is. We're just gonna let the
Yeah.
cards lie.
I don't know
Yeah.
how that works. Like
I,
at a bingo, like because I
this
know when I
show.
go to play bingo, my cards are in front of me. I got my stampers, and I'm like focused. I'm like, I don't care what's going on out here. I am just focused on ding, 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 ding.
Let me see. The spirits are saying you shall lose at bingo. You will lose all your money tonight at bingo. You will not get one single bingo, and you will be the losiest loser of all in the bingo hall, and everyone will know your name. So yeah, that's how that goes. I mean, I don't know how they intend to do it, but whatever. I'm sure they've got it all figured out. So, anyway, Hoodles, I hear you have a topic for tonight, and
I
it's a
do.
doozy. So,
It is.
anyone in
It's
our audience, if y'all ready for some mind crushing, rabbit holing, and going, what the hell where did I just go? Yeah, pretty much.
yep. That's us.
So we can all thank Jen for this one. That's okay. I'm ready for this. I mean, we have not done this topic for I don't think we've ever done this topic, to be totally honest, on either show, any of the shows that we've had. So I'm
Yeah. I don't.
I'm gonna let you go and start and do your thing, ma'am. This is your
My
topic.
thing.
Yeah, your
All right.
thing.
So there was a story, like I find one somewhere and it just catches my attention. And this one was a lady, said she had come home and she wanted to take a nap, and it was 3 o'clock. She set her alarm for 4:30, quick hour and a half nap. She went to sleep. The alarm went off, but when she woke up, she did not wake up in her body back where she originally was, where she fell asleep. She was in a body of another woman and was in a kitchen and was in the middle of cooking pancakes. And she said,
Okay.
like, she was kind of spooked out. She's looking around. She can figure out where she's at. And then she said a man walked into the kitchen and was
Uh-huh.
like, "Oh, good morning, baby. How are you today?" And she said she was like screaming in her head, like, "No, this is not right." And he came over, he kissed her, went over. He's like, "Do you want syrup or strawberries with your pancakes?" And she said she was still like in her head screaming, like, "No, this is not, where I'm supposed to be, what's going on." But her body like almost took over, like it knew like its daily, schedule of like what it was supposed to be doing. And she said her mouth opened up and said, "I'll have syrup and strawberries." She said, "But don't give the kids strawberries because they don't like them." And she's still in this, inside her head, like, what is going on here? And then she said the next thing she knew, she was thinking when he said her, the kids, she had two kids at home with her. She said next
Uh-huh.
thing she knows, three kids come running through the door and they all get up to the kitchen table and they're all getting ready for breakfast. And she's just kind of sitting there like, this is really weird of what's going on, but her body was still going through the motions of like flipping pancakes, doing the whole breakfast thing. She
Right.
said then after that, they started cleaning up from, breakfast. She was getting the kids ready for school. And she said as she's going through the motions, it just kind of, she just kind of, I wouldn't even say like bled into this life. Like she stopped screaming in the head that this was wrong and she just started to go with it. And she talks about, all three of her kids, what their names were, what they looked like. She, looked in the mirror and seen herself and described what she looked like, which, it seemed like the only thing that they had in common from the two women were they were both mixed race women. Whereas, the other lady from where she was, she had curly hair. This lady had long box braids. She had like piercings and tattoos, which she didn't have on her other, person that she came from.
Mm-hmm.
And she described her husband, the kids' names. She described, all kinds of things that were going on in the household. She said that she ended up living this life with this family for 7 years. She said she could talk about,
What?
yes, she said she talked about fights that they had, intimate time she had with her husband, kids coming home from school upset because of, a bully or, whatever happened. She talked about her job. She was an art teacher. She worked at
Right.
a elementary school. Her room was, room 106. She had 23 kids in her class. She talked about all this stuff and went through this life. And then she said around the fifth year is when things started to kind of go haywire. And she said it started
Mm-hmm.
with the mailman. The mailman, they had the same mailman every day. His name was Tom. So at the year number 5 is when it changed. And it was no longer the same guy. Every day there was a different face to the mailman. And then she said she would notice she'd go to the grocery store to go grocery shopping, and the same song would be playing in the grocery store on repeat, just over and over and over again. And she went through like
What?
a couple different, yeah. So she was talking about these things that were going on, and that's when she noticed that they had a basement door. And she asked her husband, "What's in the basement door? Like, what's down in the basement? The door's, locked." And he said, "Oh, baby," he goes, "that's storage." And he goes, "You've been asking a lot of weird questions here lately." He's like, "Are you feeling okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." She goes, "I was just wondering what was in the basement because I can't get into the door." And he goes, "It's just storage." So she said she ended up going upstairs to her bedroom. And she said when she sat down on the bed, she said she could kind of hear like whispering coming from her closet. She didn't know what it was, and she kind of like let it go. She said then she started to notice there was crying coming from the closet, and she couldn't figure out what that was. So then she went to bed one night, and she said she was laying there staring at the closet, and it started whispering to her that you need to wake up, you need to get out of there. And she goes, and she's like, she's like, I don't understand what you're saying. And she said, at that point, she goes, she realized that the voice that was talking to her from the closet was her
Mhm.
in the past life that she had come from. And she said all of a sudden, like every memory she had from her previous life just rushed into her. And she said the voice that was her voice kept saying to her, you need to wake up. You're sick. And she goes, if you stay any longer, they're going to realize what happened. You need to get out of there now. So she decides to get up. She goes searching for this key for the basement door. She doesn't know why. She just feels like that's where she needs to go. She finds the
Right.
key, she goes over. There's no doorknob on the key on the door whatsoever. It's just a keyhole. And she puts the key in, she
Uh-huh.
turns it, and as she opens the door, she steps in, and she said there was all this like white noise that was like happening
Mhm.
in like her ears. And then she said it felt like almost being pulled backwards through water, is how she explained it when she was going through the door. And then she said next thing she knew, she kind of was standing there, and she like realized at that point, I have this life over here and this life over here, and I need to make a decision. And she was like, and
Right.
it was the hardest decision I had to make because I'm picking this life over the one that I just lived for 7 years. And she goes, and I was so happy in that life with that family. She goes, but I knew I had to go back because I kept thinking about my kids that I left over here. And she
Yeah.
ended up going back, and she woke up, and she said the weirdest thing was when she woke up, it was 12 hours later after she had originally went to sleep. So when the alarm was supposed to go off an hour and a half later, whether it went off or not, I don't know. But she woke up
Mhm.
12 hours later, and she went into the bathroom and was kind of like looking at herself, like trying to like figure out like what just happened. And she said
Mhm.
on her hands, she said she was wearing a bracelet that her husband had given to her in the past life that she had just come from. She still had paint on her hands from school that day because she was an art teacher. And she still had a
Right.
paper cut on the same finger that she had got while she was crafting with her youngest daughter.
Right. Oh well,
And
that's some kind of insidious shit. That's like a dream inside of a dream
I,
inside of a dream.
but my thing, and like I said, and that's where I said, I don't know that it is quite like a glitch in the Matrix because it was a question as whether it could be that. And then that's how I got into, the quantum theory and quantum immortality and all that stuff. And it's like, is it your conscience? Like, because they say that when you go to sleep, you can go, there's a possibility of going through 10 dimensions, but going through
Right.
sleep, you can go through the four. So I'm like, was it
Right.
that? Was it like a whole nother dimension, another life that she was able to like see what's going
Mhm.
on and then had to come back? I don't know because I don't know how to explain that she still had stuff from that past life that she brought with her.
That sounds to me like um like parallel universes. You know how we talk
Mhm.
about parallel universes, and you and I have talked about parallel universes before.
Yeah.
Like she somehow in a dream state slipped parallel universes and went into another one where things were almost the same but not quite.
Hmm.
Like we've talked about how parallel universes, not everything is the exact same thing. Sometimes it may be the exact opposite, or it may be very similar to the universe you're living in with just a few changes here and there. Like when she
Hmm.
her real life, she had two kids. This was three kids.
Hmm.
Her ethnic background was a little different. They were different, but kind of the same. I guess in a way that right there makes my brain hurt because
Mhm.
it kind of reminds me of Insidious. Remember the doors that they had to go through? You have to go through the
Yeah.
door, look for the red door, kind of thing. So, if none of you watched Insidious, spoiler alert, there's a red door, and you have to keep going through these doors apparently. But that reminds me of that more than anything.
I mean,
You know,
it,
and weird.
it was weird. Like I said, when I went through and I was going through all the different quantum stuff that there is, yeah, one of the things they said was, our conscience when we go to sleep could
Mm-hmm.
possibly slide over into the another dimension where
Yep.
there is another you or I or whoever, but
Yeah.
it's a different version and it's living a different life. And they were,
Yep.
and there's a lot of stuff that I think comes with meditation to try to like get yourself there to
Mm-hmm.
experience that stuff. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I would ever be able to do that because you know me, I got my walls up and I block everything.
Girl, this one here, I love you, Jen. And you're open to a lot of things. Like if I say something to you, you're more open to things. But this girl got herself locked up in this cell and blasting caps couldn't even pull her out of that damn cell. I mean, that's just the way she is. But we love her. You know, I love her to death.
I lock it up
Um
tight.
Lock it up tight because how we don't like change because we're a creature habit and but it is possible because it's like when you're asleep. We've talked about the dream state and we talked about, oh god, here comes Tim said the lion in the closet or something like that, and I said, are you talking about Narnia? And he goes, yeah, that's it, Narnia. She went to Narnia.
Gotta
Okay.
go through the wardrobe.
Yeah, she had to go through a wardrobe for that one though. But you know what? Who knew? Basement door. Same difference. Who knows? It's Tim's version of Narnia. Hopefully, there's a lion in there somewhere. Anyhow, but we've talked about dream state before, where when you're in your dream state, windows, mirrors, closets, these could possibly be portals or dimensions. Absolutely, Tim. They could be. That is truthful. We understand that when we are asleep, we're in our, I want to say, our deepest part of sleep, which is REM. You are unaware, like your body is totally focused on the ABCs of medicine, which is your airway, your breathing, and your circulation. It's not worried about where you. Oh, hi, Hexy. Hi, Hexy girl. We've got a viewer. Maven has decided to exit the room. She is now downstairs sulking on the couch. Hi there, Hexy girl. She just loving on you. Look at that. She's like, Mommy is not giving me attention. I want to be a
We
star
have
too.
some
Look at that.
family visiting from Tennessee, and she's been
Oh,
in hiding because she doesn't come down when
no.
there's people here that she's not doesn't know or
Oh,
and so she's been in
oh,
hiding. And they went out tonight to have dinner with some people, and she's getting her lovin's in now.
oh. That's okay. We love you, Hexy. Um, but that is possible that your brain, this is how you astral project.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget the number. She put a number on her time. That could explain some of it. She did put a number on her time. That is possible to think about that. Adding that to the equation. But your brain wanders. That's how you astral project. If you are in a deep meditative state, some people accidentally astral project. They don't even know they're doing it. It just happens. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's that some people say that it's that uh have you ever dreamt that you were falling and then all of a sudden you scared yourself awake and you're like, oh, before you hit the ground kind of thing?
Yeah.
Uh that will wake you up. and that's you entering back into your body, kind of thing. It's like, move over because I'm coming back in. Coming in for a hot landing. Here we go.
Coming in
And you
hot.
scare yourself away. Coming in hot, man. I'm coming in hot. Move over. Um, that it sounds like a combination of those things. Like it's all about like Insidious. It's the Insidious things. It's astral projection. And sometimes we can, if it's something that we yearn for so bad, like maybe her life, other than the exception of her two children, was so bad that she was trying to manifest another life.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened.
And another thing that was said during the story that kind of made me think it could have been something else was the fact that she said her voice was talking to her through the closet, telling her, "Wake up, you're sick. You need to get up before they realize what's going on." So I'm wondering, because she never said, I mean, was she really sick? Did maybe she have a fever? Did all those things combined help her cross over to this other life while stuff was going on in her life over here? Because one of the things I came across was talking about a trauma, and how sometimes with the quantum theory or whatever it was, would take you into another dimension while dealing with that trauma. That would, if you had stayed behind, the trauma would have killed you. So I don't know. Was
That's
her
another
fever
good
very
point.
high, and that's something that her body just did to try to like get through? I mean, I don't know.
That is another good point. That what if that was the case? There are a lot of things to talk about with that. I mean, you can also add in there that there are, when people go into comas, for instance, when you're in a coma, or your loved one is in a coma, you'll notice how the nurses and doctors will tell you to keep talking to them, that they can hear you.
Yeah.
They just can't respond. Do you think that that's what happens when you're in a coma? Because so many people have come back and said they had the weirdest dreams, or it felt like they were living an alternate life while they were in a coma, or they were seeing people that looked familiar to them but had different names. Do you think that's possible?
I think it is a possibility. Like what I just said with the trauma and how your body sends you somewhere else while they do it. Maybe that's what happens, because, depending on whose theories you're going by, and who believes in what, the one person is saying that there's 4 different dimensions where you have 4 alternate universes and 4 alternate yous. And, maybe in this life, this one's done, and you're getting pushed off to the next universe to live that next life that's already been started, maybe.
Yeah. And Desiree just made a comment. By the way, JoJo's in the chat. Desiree is in the chat. Tim, of course, is in the chat. Desiree said that she's heard stories from people that were in comas having to go through therapy because they actually thought that the dreams they were having were actually life. And Tim made mention, I can tell you about those things, because of course, we know that Tim has had more than one near-death experience where, he thought he was in a dream state, but it was actually, to him, it was real. You'll have scientists that will say, oh no, it's the body. It's the body's way of shutting down. But how do you know? How do you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
there's no way to know exactly. Just like there's, it could all have been a dream. I mean, who knows? But without having all the facts to everything and knowing what was going on, I mean, we'll never know exactly what happened with her. But I just feel like with all the different, science, even looking at it scientifically, there has to be something more than just what we're at here. I can't, with the Mandela effects and everything else, there's definitely something else out there. Now, how you reach that, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's not up to us. That's up to, what happens in our lifetime and, people who maybe like her with her story. Maybe there was a reason as to why she went over there. Maybe there was something she was supposed to learn to bring back with her. I don't know. There's tons of things as to why stuff like that happens.
That really makes you think about, like, I know you did a lot of studying for this between the quantum physics, astrophysics, like Mandela effects and all this other stuff kind of meld in with each other. And I want to say that that it kind of begs what Stephen Hawking was saying when the Stephen Hawking story, which is everything in a nutshell, everything about the universe in a nutshell. Hey, Rachel Zuckus is in the chat. Hey, Rachel. And they were talking about how his theory is that we have all these dimensions, right? There's, and of course, the 10 dimensions, or parallel universes. And instead of being all stacked up and like the rungs of a ladder, you have to get to this one and then you go up to this one and that one. What if it ebbed and flowed? Like all the universes happened all at the same time. Like all the dimensions happened all at the same time, but they ebbed and they flowed, and there were ways, by way of glitch or matrix glitch, which is what we're talking about tonight, the matrix. And you found some kind of rip in like a time continuum and wound up accidentally somewhere else, and you have no idea, and it looked like familiar places to you, but you were in another dimension. When I did the talk when I channeled the aliens, or excuse me, they don't like to be called aliens, the ET, when I was at the Tree of Life shop in Ringtown, Rachel was there with me. There were comments made or questions, and I do remember this part. There's a lot of it that I don't remember because, when you're channeling, you just kind of, you zoink out for a little bit.
Oh no, where'd she go? I think we're having some technical difficulties.
Hang on, we'll get her back. She'll be back.
It just went dark.
I know. But anyway, yeah, time warps, parallel universes.
Yeah.
All of these relate to one another, right?
Yeah, and I kind of agree with what she was saying, like, and the whole Steve Hawking thing. I think there's like a rip in it. Yeah, I see you.
But yeah, I mean, and also things that you really have to look at as well.
Can you guys see me?
Yes.
Yeah, we see you.
I can't hear anybody.
And also, and also you have to look at as well. You really have to look at as well.
Can you guys see me?
I can see you.
I can't
Yeah,
hear anybody. I can't hear anybody.
And also, you know, and also you have to look at.
I can't hear anything. I'm gonna have to go out and come back in.
Uh-oh. He done did it now. Can you hear me?
Let me go back out and come back in.
Yep, the gremlins did it again. The weather's cold, Joanne. Wow, I've never been a one-man show, so this is going to be hard. Yeah, it's definitely cold and raining.
Can you hear me, Jen?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Good Lord. My daughter called and it just messed up my phone. You know what I'm saying? This is how we do. And then she had the nerve to call me twice. So
Make sure she got that first call in there.
Yeah. I had to tell her I'm on the air. She knows not to call me on a Monday night at this time. But what does she do? Call me. And then on top of it, it's a FaceTime chat.
That's all it seems like when people call, they all call with FaceTime. Even Bruce does it. I'm like,
yeah.
Just hit the little button. I don't need to see your face every time.
Yeah. Jen show on you now. Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm not walking double talk, step, side steps, all this good stuff, right?
Scoot.
You're not getting echoes, any of that stuff, okay?
I know.
Are we getting echoes? No feedback? No whistles? No voices? No. All right.
No, not yet.
All right. Okay.
She's upset.
Welcome back, Buffy.
Look, Rachel said that I upset the ETs, and that's why. That's what happens when I upset ETs, apparently. They
Okay. But anyway, we had echoes, all kinds of crazy stuff going on when you left. And we've been hearing voices through the system a lot, right?
Really?
Yeah, I made the comment earlier. I don't know if you saw the comment, but we've been getting a lot of chatter on the show. And I can't figure out where it's coming from. So I got a feeling that the Matrix, we're tapping into something here. I'm not sure exactly what it is.
Because we're talking about it.
That's exactly what it is. They got all their ears on us now.
Well, you guys
listen. The blue pill.
Every time that we do a show that has anything to do with science, with the government or anything like that, we always have technical difficulties, or we get shut down, or any of that. Correct? Every single time. This is not an exception. So there's a lot of things that has to do with the Matrix that the government is involved in. And believe it or not, the government's been experimenting with this stuff for a long time. And I don't want to say GOV because it red flags.
Of course.
I don't know that. We all know that.
Of course.
Of course. So, but anyway, with Matrix, has a lot to do with numbers.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we all know that I love numbers when it comes to this, and when it comes
Yep.
to the Matrix, when it
Mhm.
comes to aliens, UFOs, dimensions, all of this stuff, it all pertains to numbers. The lady that you were talking about a few minutes ago, Jen, she put a number to the time that she was going to take a nap, right? So those
Mhm.
numbers, when she went and to take the nap, those numbers were already programmed into her sensory, and those numbers established a gateway for her to travel over into another dimension. Correct. So in
Right.
order for her to come back, her subconscious that was already
Mhm.
involved in the deep realm sleep, and we all know about
Right.
deep realm sleep,
Right.
was already on full alert, trying to get her physical body back to where it needed to be with her spiritual, because
Right.
it wasn't accepting that spirit being gone at that time, or her
Mhm.
psyche, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of names for that.
Mhm.
So, but anyway, carry on. And Buffy, if you get knocked off again, Jen, we'll put JoJo on. I'll give you the email.
Okay.
No, we'll get
Get
you.
ready, JoJo.
No worries. JoJo's been on our show.
Hurry up, JoJo. Be
JoJo's been
prepared.
on our show. She'll come back on it again. All right.
Be prepared,
But anyway,
JoJo.
yeah, we'll make her present. Absolutely. But
We're
anyway,
talking about Marvel movies. Listen,
yeah,
I love how, who was it that said, JoJo said, she said zone out and disappeared. She said zoned out and disappeared. Apparently I did, and maybe I did upset the ETs, Rachel. Who the heck knows? So everybody just starts talking about the weather. They're all like, "So how's the weather?" Kind of.
Weather's got a lot to do with
This group. This is why I love this group. And here's the thing, Keita and Abe. I know this isn't Keita doing it. I know it's probably Abe doing it. Those were the two ET that I had contacted, that I was channeling when I was at the Tree of Life. Anywho, they had stated there was a question of how did they get here from thousands of light years away, and Keita had made the comment that we had it wrong as far as dimensions and how they're stacked up on top of each other like the rungs of a ladder, that they ebb and they flow, and it is everything happening all at once. And there are two ways they get here. One is by hologram. They can project themselves through telepathy using a hologram, or they can actually take a craft and they ride the dimensions like the Millennium Falcon on warp drive. You know, and they know where the time slips are. And it's like a map. They just, you know, it's like an exit off of a freeway kind of thing.
Kind of like in Halloween Town when she's going through the portal on the broom.
Yep. And that's how they get here. That ice cold being, yes, I mentioned Abe. Rachel didn't like Abe. I don't think anybody got along with Abe. It's not that Abe was the Zadian who I contacted, who had contacted me at very first. Tim told your sister to get ready. Get ready, JoJo, because if she gets another phone call, we out. But I don't think he is of a higher class of being other than the Andromedan who was Kita, who was very gentle and very calm. And I think they evolved to the point of where emotion is not a thing for them. That they're all about look, Charles Marciano is in the chat. He said he liked Abe. Abe was very analytical. Abe was very scientific. Abe was all about the numbers. He couldn't understand why people put their trust in a God that no one saw. He did not understand religion. It was all about, he was like the Stephen Hawking's of the group, the mind over matter kind of thing. You weren't freezing, Charles. He said, Rachel said, you weren't freezing over there. But I guess that maybe she's referring to the temperature in the room that dropped when they showed up, because it did. But Kita was the one that was the more gentle one. The Andromedians that were they're more human-like, with the exception of some facial features and being very tall and very slender. Neither of them had let's just say differentiations between male and female. They're almost like eunuchs, where they don't have genitalia to differentiate male, female. They all look the same. And his idea of the Matrix was that it is definitely glitchable, that there are slips, that there are tears in it. And my question to you is, if we're going to talk about the Matrix or matrixing, what is your opinion of people saying that what we are viewing as a reality is nothing but a matrix? It's like a video game. We're the pawns in a video game. That someone higher is. See, I caught you off guard this time. Ha.
No, I find it funny because there's been times where I've thought about it, because sometimes with my video games, I play Sims. And right. If anybody else out there has played Sims, yep. You're literally just simulating a life. You're going to sleep, you're waking up, you're going to the bathroom, you're getting a shower, you're going to work, you're making friends. It's everything you would do in life. You're hungry, you order pizza, or you go in, you cook, and sometimes I would think, well, you know what? What if the world was like a video game and maybe I'm a sim? I don't know. Right. Mm-hmm. And, and then I get a little upset and I'm like, you need some cheat codes. You need to do better. So,
agreed.
We are living a mediocre life here. I feel like we need to step up some stuff. Somebody's sim wallet needs some money so we can purchase some stuff around here.
Exactly.
But, so yeah, I've definitely thought about that before, and that, could definitely be a possibility. I don't know. There's too many things that are just questionable,
right?
And that we don't have answers for. But I do believe in like other dimensions. So who's to say that it's not a dimension? We're not a video game, and somebody isn't up there, and we're all living a simulated life in a GameCube or an Xbox or whatever. We do the same thing on. I think if anybody watched it, there was a show that was on. I think it was called Black Mirror, and there was an episode where it was pretty much the same thing. Like, people are watching TV of like almost like a reality show of what's happening to this girl, and she's having like the worst run of luck. She her boyfriend leaves her, she's getting fired from her job, all this stuff's going down. And at the same time that all this stuff's happening to her, her and whoever are watching an episode on the TV in this show of another girl going through the same exact thing as her. And she's watching it like, why is somebody recording my life? And it just keeps going through the TV shows on and on and on until finally they were like, we need to, like, two people came together and were like, look, like it was her and then somebody who was playing her in the TV show. And they got together and were like, this is not right. There's something wrong. We need to get to, where they ended up going was like the TV studio and, made it all the way down to where it was like their whole computer system. And they're like, we just need to take that out and we'll all be free. Mm-hmm. And then, somebody kind of looked at him and said, but the question is, will you be free? And they had to think about that. Is it me that's going to be free? Is it her that's going to be free? Is there somebody else out there we don't know that's, you don't know. So at the end of it, they never destroyed the computer because they didn't know.
Right. Mm-hmm. There was something similar in a movie that somebody had sent to me to watch, and it was I can't remember the name of it, but it was this girl in high school who was seeing ghosts, but then she died and was a ghost kind of thing and was stuck in the high school.
I think it's called School Spirit.
School Spirit, that's it. School Spirit was that one. And it was kind of like in the end of the movie, we were like, what did I just witness? Wait, they can't just leave it here. What are you talking about? Kind of thing. Charles says that this is the Cosmic Truman Show. He said it's like a Cosmic Truman Show. It certainly is, Charles. But who's to say? And you're right with that. With that scenario. There are a lot of people out there that think that this is what we are doing, or the life that they're living right now is some kind of holographic game. Mm-hmm. And that somebody is controlling them. And just like in the movie Matrix, wake up! When all like just wake up kind of thing from this. And then, but if we wake up, do we kill each other off? Mm-hmm. Is that the end for you, or is it the end for whoever's playing the game and using you as a pawn? It's kind of a scary thing when you think of our lives being played as a video game, and that the person who's at the controller of this supposed quote unquote game could just one day hit the end game button and be like, mm-hmm. I'm done.
Yeah, because I mean, what's to say you or I are the real ones? I mean, we might feel like we are.
Yeah.
But I mean, who's to say? I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm the only one and I'm the real one, but I mean, we don't know. And that is a question. I think if something like that was to happen, we'd all be faced with like, mm-hmm. Am I really the real one, or is this going to be it? And somebody's out there with a game controller controlling me. Right. I don't know.
Right. But there's also another side of that where people are saying that this is a matrix, and if we don't like the atrocities that are happening in the world, we need to wake up from the matrix or escape out of the matrix, because that's the only way that all this stuff can stop, kind of thing. It's weird. It's like, okay, well, how do I know that if I wake up out of the matrix, the world outside isn't, we haven't suffered a nuclear winter already, and this is just some kind of dream state, and things are worse, than they are now.
I mean, here's the question. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the movie Matrix with Keanu
Right.
Reeves.
Yep.
We all know, he was red pill or blue pill,
Right.
and he decided to take whichever pill it was that woke him up and, put him on this journey. And I always question myself, like, when you think about, I mean, his life wasn't great. I mean, he seemed
No.
miserable,
Yeah.
but he was living an everyday life like the rest of us do. And then now you're thrown in over here. You got, things coming out of you. You got to be hooked up to machines. You're eating tasteless slop, it looks like. And you're on this ship that you're living on, and you're not able to go anywhere or do anything unless you're plugged back into the matrix. Like, is that life better? Was it better? I don't know.
I mean, I think it's all your perception of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
of how you perceive things, of how you perceive your life. And if that's the case, then, and if you don't like where you're going, then change it. Yeah, he made the mistake of taking the wrong, well, was it the wrong pill? Then again, that begs the question.
Mm-hmm.
Was it the wrong pill? What if he had taken the other pill? You know what I mean? Would things have been much better?
Yeah.
Choices like that. I mean, each one of them has their own con when it comes to choices like that. I mean, it's like those things that you say on Facebook where, okay, you're given the option. You're given a red pill and a blue pill. The blue pill makes you invisible. The other one makes you be able to read minds. Okay. You take the blue pill and it makes you invisible. All right. People can't see you. They don't associate with you anymore because you're not actually there. Right.
Mm-hmm.
They can't see you. They can't hear you. You're invisible. So you now know how life goes on without you as a person, or being a vital part of society.
Mm-hmm.
Or you take the other pill where you can read people's minds, but then all the people, you take that pill and you find out all the people that you associate it with, that you called loved ones, people that you could trust, you find out are all against you. And they were just being nice to your face. What's more depressing? It's 6 and 1/2 dozen of the other. It doesn't make anything any better. Either pill doesn't make anything any better. It's like Rachel says, it's like Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The Four Agreements, and his other books. I have not gotten through that book yet. Kind of like not going to work, life goes on. Yeah. You're right. I have not gotten through Don Miguel Ruiz's book, so I'm working on that. I just haven't had time to sit down and read the rest of it. But are these things slips in the matrix? Is the Mandela effect all part of a slip in the matrix? Is deja vu, like Tim was talking about earlier before we went on air, is that all part of slips in the matrix?
Sometimes I think deja vu, it could be a slip in the matrix. It could be a memory from a past life or something. I don't know. I just had one happen Friday night when I was at Field of Screams.
Right.
When I was on the hayride. I legit, even at one point, turned around and looked at Bruce and I said, "Are you absolutely sure we've never been here?" Because I knew I'd never been there. Like, just by the looks of it, it was so nice. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "No, we haven't been here." And I'm like, I'm having the strangest case of deja vu on this hayride that and it's been quite a while since I've been on one. But I mean, down to like the first 3 like spots that we stopped on the hayride, like everything from the outside to the inside, the actors, how things were, it was so crazy. And then it was after those first 3, that was it. It just kind of went away. But like for the first 3, like I was literally sitting there turning around looking at Bruce like, I feel like we've been here before. Like I'm not like I knew what was going to happen before it happened, and it was really weird. So, whether that's a glitch in the Matrix or you're slipping into another dimension where I may have done that before
like
at some other point, I don't know, but it's definitely a good question.
Yeah, like a different, like you slipped into a parallel universe.
Mm-hmm.
Some things may have been different, but a great majority of it you thought you had done before.
Yeah.
Your sister said it happened to her yesterday. For some reason. Do tell, Joe.
Hello.
Hello.
You mind if I butt in one more time?
No, go ahead. No. Sir, you can butt in whenever you want to.
Deja vu and Matrix. Okay, yeah. So let's say deja vu, right? Now, we all had past lives experience. A lot of us have. A lot of us live past lives. A lot of us have old souls. I'm one of them. You're one of them, Buffy, Jen, JoJo. Now, you and Bruce, Jen, on Hayride. Deja vu.
Mm-hmm.
You picked up something from that area. Something triggered something with your spirit that was familiar to you from past. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
We all have had those experiences. I've had them. Buffy's had them. I can't go to battlefields. Right?
Yep.
I can't go to battlefields. I'd love to go to battlefields, but I can't go to battlefields because they trigger something. I can't be around objects that's had anything to do with the past, say like the Civil War or the previous wars, because they trigger things.
Right.
Past lives. Yes, military, helicopters, anything with aircraft. Yes, I'm still involved in a lot of that. But as a lot of us know, that these things bring back a lot of past lives experiences. This is for a later show. And believe me, we can do shows on top of shows with our past life experiences. We've all had them.
Yep.
The deja vu, Jen, that you had is a possibility that something did trigger past life, right? So now who thinks that Matrix wasn't involved in that? Who's to say that Matrix is not part of our past lives experiences? And we've suffered such a trauma, say like a sudden, say traumatic experience, death.
Right.
When we slip into deep realm comas, things of that nature, that these dimensions takes this, say, inner spirit and puts us transgresses over into another dimension to where we're not experiencing that traumatic injury or whatever the case may be, and we're transformed into another physical form. Now that physical form in reality is introduced into areas that maybe some time that we're not familiar with, but yet when we are actually introduced into that area, that bam, all at once something triggers. So like you see someone on the street and automatically you think, damn, I know those people, or I know that individual, or I know that store, or I know that street corner, but I've never been here. Something brings that back to us for that period. That's part of what happens when we do these deja vus, Matrix, because we're actually being transported, correct? Either way, deja vu, Matrix, to me, they're basically all the same. Now, when we leave this physical world, who's to say we don't go back into the, say, past? Who's to say that we
Right.
don't go back to the past? Who's
Right.
to say that we don't jump into the future? Who's to say that we don't transgress or transform into another dimension or another physical form, and we're brought up into, say, a civilization that may not even be in this uh, geographical area.
Right.
We may be in another continent somewhere, but yet we see things, say, like on TV, or we see things on paintings that spark those waves, that we've been introduced to, or that we've lived past lives, or things from the future that we have been accustomed to, and we're now getting familiar with. AI is here. AI, artificial intelligence, is here. Who's to say that we're not part of that? And we are part of that in a way, correct? Because it's taken us, and it's doing things that a lot of us are not familiar with, but yet it's running factories, it's running machines, it's actually flying aircraft now. It's fighting our wars for us. And a lot of these people that are running these offices are using AI anymore. They're relying on AI to solve their problems and all of this. And there's going to be a question that's going to come up one day. What matrix, or where am I from? What past am I from? And it's automatically going to tell you exactly where you've been, instead of relying on people like Buffy and and for her to tell you the past lives that you lived, where you come from, who you are, and all of this. But those are the things that we have to take into consideration. Deja vu, Matrix. It's very debatable. It really is very debatable.
So
dimensions.
It's very possible that when I channel, like that incident that I had when I went to Gettysburg last, I think I remember telling you at one point, or I may have told someone at one point, we know that I have been trying to find out my connection between me and Tilly Pierce and Ginny Wade.
Right.
Why is it me? Out of all the people that come there, out of all the mediums, out of all the psychics that show up there, that come by the droves, why is it just me that they seem to be like stuck up my butt the entire time? Why is it that Tilly Pierce tells me to welcome home when I hit, Route 15? I don't know. And I think I found the connection with that. And that I went to that house. I went to Ginny Wade's birth house. I took the tour. They just opened it like a month ago. So I took the tour, and I was sitting outside waiting for them to open the door. And I heard in my head, "Get the hell out of my house." It was a male voice. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be really fun. Whatever. And it happened again. "Get the hell out of my house." And I ignored it and said, this is a male presence, and he's here, and he hasn't showed himself to me yet. When he does, he's going to get the old kickoff. Bye. See ya. I walked into the house, and we were in the parlor of the house, and we're getting ready to go up the stairs into the bedroom areas. And I saw a face and heard it again. "Get the hell out of my house." Hetty. Hettie. Hetty. And I had to go outside because I couldn't take it anymore because he was making my head hurt so bad. It was James Wade. It was Captain James Wade. It was Ginny's dad, the father. Right. And I had gone outside because he was making me feel ill. And immediately I channeled. And Hetty Shriver made me her. And it was like I was transported, or maybe it felt like I had time slipped back to 1863. It was right. Nighttime. It was cool. It was not winter yet. And to the point where I was in a rocking chair and I heard noise, like arguing outside. And I went and got up and I opened up the front door and I walked down the steps, and there was James Wade winging Ginny around by her arm. And he was screaming at her, and he was drunk. And I happened to look down and I saw my clothes. And I did not look anything like I look now. I had long hair. I had the dress I was wearing was dark. It had flowers or white flowers on it. And the sleeves were long and had little lace around the edge of the sleeves. And I grabbed him by the hand and I had mentioned to him, "You're making a spectacle out of yourself. You're a drunkard. Go home. This young girl has done nothing to you. And you're making her suffer. Why are you screaming at her? You're making a spectacle of yourself. All the neighbors are going to come out here. Go home. You don't belong here." And I had her hand in one hand and I had his in the other. And I'm like literally peeling him apart. And I threw him that way and said, "Now go home. Sleep it off. And maybe you should forget about drinking for a while." And I look at her and say, "Did he hurt you?" And I remember calling her by name. And I remember fixing her hair and giving her a handkerchief. And she was crying. And I said, "Do you need me to walk you home? Do you need me to walk you to your sister's house? Do you want to come inside? You need a drink of water? Wait till he falls asleep." And she called me by name and she said, "No, thank you." She said, "I'll be fine." And I said, "Well, I'm going to watch you walk to your sister's house." And she'd gone to her sister's. And I watched her in the opposite direction walk up the hill to her sister's house. Hetty Shriver, they all lived on the same block. Tilly Pierce, Hetty Shriver, and the Pierce or the Wades all lived on Baltimore Street. Tilly used to help watch Hetty's kids. And Ginny and Tilly were probably about maybe 5 years apart, that they had gone to school together, and they all lived on the same block. They all knew each other. And another thing that connects me with Tilly is that Hetty Shriver, her maiden name was Weichert. In the book, What a Girl Saw, she ran to the Weichert's farm during the Battle of Gettysburg. Hetty had got her in the Buckport, her and her family, and they drove 3 miles out of town to safety. The only safe house was her mom and dad's house, the Weicherts. And that, I believe, was my connection.
Okay.
And when I mentioned it, they all went like this.
Right.
You finally got it. After 3 years. After more than 3 years, I finally got it. But I felt like I was not, like I was in an alternate dimension.
Well, you were. And something kept drawing you back there because, life is like a puzzle. You've heard that song. Life is Yeah, right. Well, you
Right.
know, it is a puzzle, and things keep putting us back into places that we are familiar with, whether it's in the past or the future. It always puts us there.
Mhm.
And sometimes, you know, we have to put these puzzles together, and you know, and that's exactly what was happening, because you were being drawn there for a reason.
Mhm.
And these puzzles pieces were being placed in front of you.
Mhm.
You had to put them together. They couldn't put them together for you. You had to
No.
do it, right?
Mhm.
So once you started putting those pieces together and you started seeing the full picture, then that's when it automatically boom. It's almost like when something comes through portal, you hear this
Right.
boom, right?
Yeah.
Because that's when it actually has manipulated. It's already come through. It's already made its plan. Everything is picturist. Everything is
Yeah.
put together. You know what's going on. So that's what's happened to you.
I
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, because it happened like that. It was like boom, I was there and then I wasn't there.
Right.
None of the buildings looked the same. The street was not paved. Nothing looked the same. The smells weren't the same. It was completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Like the buildings weren't there. The cars weren't there. Some of the steps weren't there. The sidewalk wasn't even there.
Yeah.
So it was just like I didn't know where I was. And then it was weird because the woman who was guiding the tour came out with the rest of them, and I must have been out of it for a while.
All right.
Because I woke up to, ma'am, are you okay? And I said, huh? I'm sorry, I'm fine. I said I needed a minute of fresh air. And she said, we've been calling your name or calling you for like the past, just like not here. And I said, hey, I'm not feeling well. I'm gonna go back to the hotel. And she said, are you sure you don't want somebody to walk with you? And I said, no, it's right down the street. And she goes, okay, we'll watch you walk to the hotel because you're very pale. And I'm like, okay. And they
All
did,
right.
and I stayed in and I fell asleep. Like I was exhausted. But
Okay.
that's only happened to me one other time, and that was Tree of Life. And I don't know whether I slipped into another dimension or I, kind of like womb where
Yeah.
they were actually talking to me. It wasn't the same as me channeling or having vision or seeing things or letting a spirit let me into their life and see what things transpired. It was none of that. I had never done that in my entire life. Like everybody else was talking to me, like they
All
were
right.
interacting with me, like it was actually there. Usually it's like I'm in there, and when I remote view, it's almost like watching a slow motion movie where they don't see me. I'm just standing there watching it happen, and they don't know that I'm there. This was they actually everybody knew I was there. Everybody. So I don't know what happened with that. That's weird. I don't know. Anywho,
it, it it's made me think of a question with alternate dimensions. Do you think that they're alternate dimensions of the same time, just things are different, or do you think there's alternate dimensions in different times? So maybe it wasn't like a past memory, maybe you actually slipped into another dimension of that time and lived that.
that's what I'm thinking. That's my question. I don't know. Jen, that was the oddest thing that has ever happened to me. And it's only happened to me one other time. I mean, I even questioned Sherry about it. I questioned someone that I trust in Gettysburg who's been doing this for years, and her name is Karen. I said, did I do what did I do? And their comment was either you're leveling up in abilities, or it's very possible that you slipped into another dimension, just backwards in time, where it is happening all over again. I don't know. Weird.
So what you're saying is your person found cheat codes and you've leveled up to the next level.
I don't know. I don't think so, because I certainly don't feel like I leveled up in any way, shape, or form. I still feel like I'm the same damn dummy that left here.
No.
I mean,
You just
I don't know what the hell
leveled up. You got a superpower.
I wish it would stop, like, for real, because it's scary, and do not recommend. 100% do not recommend. Yep. Nope. I did at one point see Hexy's tail, and all I saw was tail doing this.
She's laying here on my lap, just purring away.
I saw this. Do. Yeah. The whole like Mario Brothers. Do. Yeah, walking across the screen. Do. Kind of thing. Which I think is just precious. Who was it? Desiree said, I've had moments of deja vu all the time. It could be past life. Do you agree with that, Jen? Could be past life, could be, I don't know now with this whole matrixing thing.
That's one thing that I've always questioned as to exactly what deja vu is. Is it a past life? Is it something that we've done before in another dimension, and that's why it feels that way here? Because what's weird is, like, I've had deja vu when I've gone on vacation to places that I've never been before. Mm-hmm. And I've walked into places and been like, this is really weird. Like, I could tell you, like, where everything is. This, but I've never been in the state. I've never been in the store or whatever. Yeah. So it's hard to say if it's a matrix thing, and maybe the codes aren't right, and or is it another dimension? Is it a past life? I don't know. I mean, there's several different ways it can go, and I think we'll always have these questions. It doesn't matter how deep down in the rabbit hole we go. I don't think we'll ever get the answers, and it's just really all up to who it is and what they perceive their experience was.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna ever fully know the answer to that. I mean, it has so many possibilities. Your sister said, if I can even pull up the comment, that she was in New Jersey and it happened with Brian's dad's house while we were eating dinner. I've never even been there before, and it just felt like I had been at that house, in that room, at that table before. And I was eating, and I just stopped and looked around. Hold on. Said I've been here before. It was just so weird. That happened to her at Brian's parents' house, apparently. Let's see. Charles said that he's had various kinds of deja vu. Places, dreams, people. It's also a cool song by Iron Maiden. It is a cool song by Iron Maiden. Leave it to Charles to put the music, the reference in there, sneak in the music reference. The weirdest ones are places I've never been before. And then he gets the, I swear I've been here before kind of thing going on. Mm-hmm. I don't think we'll ever find the answer. Do you think we'll ever find the answer?
No, I don't think so. I mean, not in our lifetime. Maybe in our, next life.
I who the hell knows? I don't have all the answers. I mean, I've never been the one about the sciencey kind of. Well, I am sciencey, but it's not this type of like quantum physics and stuff like that. I've never been the Stephen Hawking's person. Rachel said that she's learned to embrace the moments, the deja vu moments, and just to go with it. And just like, okay, just go with it. I've always been that type of person. Just like, okay, just trust the universe. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much else you can do. It's gonna happen, and I don't know. I find like I used to have deja vu a lot, and I found like here lately, within the past couple of years, like I don't get it as much as I used to. It's just once here or there, and and then that got me thinking like, well, if it is memories from a past life, from something I did, I'm not getting deja vu anymore. Is it because my past life, I passed away before the age I'm at now, and that's why there's no more deja vu? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of different things. If you keep going and asking questions, I mean, it could put you off in like all kinds of different directions.
Lots of rabbit holes. My question is that why the hell can't I have deja vu about me being rich? That's my problem. Being rich in a castle somewhere. Why can't I go somewhere and into a castle and be like, yeah, I remember being here? Shit, dang. I have the worst luck interdimensionally as well, apparently, that I am always dirt poor.
I think that's why I've always wanted to visit like Scotland and Ireland, because I have in my family there's Scottish, there's Irish, and I think that would be really neat to go and to just check out the two places that family years and years and years ago, that's where they live,
and see what you get.
A part of where I came from, and see if I have deja vu in those areas where I know I've never been. And because then how do you explain that? Did you freeze on me again?
No, I'm here. I'm here. It's the weather. I had bent down to pet Maven and I disappeared from the frame, so I apologize. And then have this god awful frozen thing on Facebook of me with the god awful back of my damn head. Just saying. Rachel says sometimes it's just your gut instinct. It really is just your gut instinct, and I agree with that. I really do. But I really wish I had some deja vu where I was rich. Like in a castle somewhere.
Yeah.
A mansion. That would be great for all of us to have a deja vu about that. Wow. That would be wonderful. Amazing.
I think that would, it would be nice, but I think also I would just be depressed. Like, why am I here now?
Yeah, where'd I go? What happened?
How do I get back there?
Yeah. Can I just get back there? Maybe, who knows? Maybe your next life, your reincarnation, you'll be back there again, since it doesn't really have any time or place.
Maybe.
Who the hell knows? My goodness.
I know.
Go ahead.
Tim put up something in here in the chat. And I don't know if he wants to come back on and talk about it. He said Donna woke him up at 3:30 a.m. Saturday morning. Said she heard a knock on the front door and the dogs were barking. She said she looked through the peephole and saw this very tall man standing at the front door, and he was like solid white. Got up and went to look out the door and nothing was there, but she swears it was human looking. Does he have orchids outside?
Well, there are orchids outside, please. Just...
As a matter of fact,
there were orchids apparently, and a smoking jacket involved.
Listen, when she told me that, you know me, right? With my past experiences, I make sure I got a lot of damn ammo, right? So when I went to the door, I was fully armed with my vest and all of that stuff on. I was ready. Okay. But now there is an orchid out there in the front pillar on the column.
Listen,
No,
was it an alien trying to molest that damn orchid in a smoking jacket?
You know, we call it a joke, but I'm you know, Jen, since you mentioned that, I'm starting to think that damn alien may have came down to molest that friggin' orchid.
How dare he right in front of the ring
about orchids?
I don't know what it is about these Florida orchids down here that these damn aliens are attracted to.
They got some homing beams in there or something. I don't know what their pollen reaches pretty far then apparently.
I don't know.
Or what if, you know, there's something with orchids that they're extracting from it that they need for something for them, for medicine or something.
For some type of survival, maybe, you know, just like you know, we need things from the willow trees and things like that, you know, for the aspers and everything. Who knows? But no, she did come in the bedroom. It was like 3:30 a.m. and she said the dogs were barking. She got up because she heard a knock at the door. And so I got up. I got you know, I got my pistols and all that stuff. Walked over to the door, looked through the peephole.
Here he come like Yosemite Sam.
Exactly. Trust me. When I go to the door, I am Yosemite Sam.
He has pistols like this, ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. Got my bulletproof vest, all that mess on.
Oh, Lord.
Hanging on my damn underwear and all that. So if
3 hours later.
Yeah, I'm coming out on you. I'm in flip-flops, underwear with badge and bulletproof vest and guns. So it's going to be a sight that you've never seen in your damn life. Right? You're going to be going down the street.
Jesus.
I've got 2 questions.
Go ahead.
I have a lot of questions.
I mean, I just got 2 right off the top of my head. So the one is that always irks me, and I don't know why. Do you have a doorbell?
I don't have a doorbell.
Okay, then that doesn't pertain to this one because that always irks me when people have doorbells and people knock. And I'm like, why do you knock when there's a doorbell? Because I can't ever hear the door. But my second question is how do you go back to sleep after you get up and put all that stuff on and go to the door and then have to take it all back off?
I'm awake at 3:30. Usually I'm up at 4 o'clock anyway because I'm already getting dressed.
Oh, Lord.
So I'm thinking it might be somebody who's familiar with my habits or whatever. But no, she swears that it was someone that was very tall and had the snow white complexion. And she swears that it was humanoid. Yeah.
It was me. It was me.
But the thing about it is, I do have a camera. I have a camera on the side of the house. I have, you know, the security lights and all that stuff, but nothing showed up on the cameras. So I, you know, I don't know. But I do have an orchid out front that spirals up the column. Yeah, yeah.
Listen, you need to put a smoking jacket out there like Gomez Adams. And
maybe a martini
with a sign.
Yeah, smoking jacket with a martini. You know,
yeah.
We don't have a drink around here, but I can put a damn martini out there.
If you're here trying to molest my damn orchids, please put the smoking jacket on and give it a cigarette after. I mean, calm down.
You know, after that investigation, the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking that lady was probably maybe right with that thing. I don't know. I mean, you know,
couldn't have possibly been all the chemicals she was around.
Well, I mean, you know, she was a scientist and she worked at the same freaking place I did. You know, Pratt Whitney over there, or Teledyne, whatever you call it. You know?
Just saying. Yeah. It's
So,
a great possibility.
Pretty quick in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God they kept laying me off, so I wasn't in there long enough to get burned out. I'm already burned out enough from smelling aviation.
Jesus, but, I just can't. No.
Yeah. But no, we've been having some, not just here, but in the area. We've been having a lot of crazy stuff going down up here. You know. A lot of crazy stuff. And
Yeah.
we got a little more time. We'll talk about it.
Yeah,
So
Delaware doesn't need any of your crazy. You keep your crazy down in Florida.
well, I mean, we're gonna send it all over. So I mean, we're gonna do some shows on
Well,
it.
gee, thanks for the heads up, so that I can prepare,
Absolutely.
so that Jen and I can prepare.
Well,
Just saying.
Jen knows, JoJo knows. I mean, everybody knows that, we're into the Bigfoot and all of that stuff, and and the aliens,
Sasquatch,
and
skunk,
UFOs.
ape,
Oh yeah, skunk ape, and
alien,
yeah. So
bugs big enough to carry a 6-year-old off into the wilderness, never to be found again.
yeah, exactly.
That's a pterodactyl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And pterodactyls. Yep.
And pterodactyls.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a picture somebody posted from years ago where it looks like an actual pterodactyl, and if I'm not mistaken, it's like right over top of like Yellowstone or like Yosemite Park or something like that.
That's another place, that Yellowstone National Park. Yeah, don't trust some people down at Yellowstone, man.
Yeah, with Old Faithful and all of that, and those volcanoes are smelling that sulfur and everything. I mean, that's a natural high, and plus, you have all of the natives and everything, and they're, they feeding a lot of those Europeans a lot of stuff that they shouldn't be, but that's good. So they're doing a lot of nations.
I forget what year it was. What actually happened was a little kid went missing, and they went looking for him, and they couldn't find him. And then when they finally found his remains, it was way up at the top of this mountain that this child, I think he was like no more than 4 or 5, he never would have got up that far on his own. And there's the way it was, like they didn't think like mountain lions or bears or anything, like that's why they were saying like it was weird, because at the same time period is when they caught the picture of what they thought was a pterodactyl. And I mean, and like you said, with those volcanoes and the geysers and stuff like that, who knows what's coming out of there? And I mean, that place is huge.
Yeah,
anything could be hiding.
All right. Well, anyway, that's what happened the other night. So but thanks for having me on.
I mean, and well, it's that Yellowstone National Park, man. I mean, you can't trust people in Yellowstone, and don't try trusting anybody in Jackson Hole, because that ain't happening either. They're all a little, you know what I'm saying? Just a little different. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that could have been an alien. I'm just saying. Could have been. I mean, I've been to the great state of Wyoming. I've been to Yellowstone National Park. I've been to Casper, Douglas, Laramie, all over. You want to kill someone? You want to hide a body? Wyoming. Ain't never gonna find it. Nope. It is the least populated state next to Alaska. All that wilderness out there, beautiful. I'm not saying nothing about it not being beautiful. It is 100% beautiful.
Yes.
Been there, Montana, all over. That is what I would definitely call God's country. But damn, you can't trust none of them people in Yellowstone, near Yellowstone, and you want to get weird, like they say, keep Seattle weird. You ain't seen nothing till you go to Jackson Hole. Okay, that's some, yeah. There's some special people in Jackson Hole. Special people in Jackson Hole. Aliens, they lock their doors when they go past Jackson Hole. Like they do flybys and just like, nope, children, lock the doors. This is the unsafe part of town. Just lock your doors. I'm sure they do that in Delaware too, when they speed by Delaware. Lock your doors, children. We can't trust these people. These people in this state can't be trusted. Just saying.
Yeah, they speak to Wilmington and say, this is why we had to get your parents to sign the permission slip before the field trip.
Exactly. It's all Delaware, all of Delaware. This was a great topic, Jen. This was a fabulous topic. You have not ceased not to amaze me at any given point since we've started this podcast. You've come across some really great topics. And I can't wait for you to come up with the next one. I mean, you know, you got the brain working.
Something will catch my attention, and I'll dig down through another. Jen just thinks
isn't that Paranormal Ranch out there too? Oh, you mean the SW Ranch?
Yeah, in Utah.
I believe that is in Montana. You know, I didn't go left far enough. Yeah, but that's in Utah.
Uh-oh. Did I lose her again? Oh, Lord. Did I lose everyone?
Nope.
Okay. I was like, no.
When she comes back, then we'll pretty much go ahead and call it, I guess. Pretty much been on for a few hours, man. Because I mean, yeah, this has been a great show, Jen. And like Buffy said, it's been a good topic.
Yeah. I like things that make you question what's going on, or, you know, and especially when it could be several different things. It's just, it keeps your mind going and working, and I enjoy that.
Yeah, this has been a great show.
Howdy.
And like Buffy said, it's been a good topic.
I like things that make.
I'm back. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, dear sister said Buffy zones out again. Look what happens. Yeah, we mentioned that S Ranch. That's the problem. We don't mention those words here. Any hoodles.
I'm gonna have to work on my singing voice if you keep doing that. I'm gonna have to do something to keep everybody occupied.
Well, I've got the guitar and the drums back here in the back, so go ahead.
For your listening pleasure, the smooth sounds of Jen. Yeah, apparently Spirit doesn't like me anymore. So any hoodles, you got anything left to say, Jen?
I do not. Just like every time before, if anyone out there has a topic that they're interested in and they want me to dig down into some research and find a new rabbit hole, please let us know. Whether you reach out to Buffy or me. That way, you know, we can get you guys something, especially if there's something you want to hear. I want everybody to, you know, enjoy what we're talking about, and, you know, and it would help if, you know, there's something out there that, you know, you need answers. Give me something to do.
Yeah. I mean, we could all research. That's right, JoJo. Your sister said, don't mention the D word. Don't mention the D word. That's one thing we learned on this show very early. And Charles thinks it's the Illuminati conspiracy against me. It's the Illuminati conspiracy against Buffy. It might be, Charles. Who the hell knows? They're all been trying to get me, apparently. Just saying. Any hoodles. That's true. I mean, you can email Jen. Jen, why don't you give your email out real quick?
Jen Dodson, DODSON 79@gmail.com.
There you go. Or you can reach me at ghostwhisperer318@gmail.com. That's ghostwhisperer318@gmail.com. If you want to hear a topic, Jen and I are more than willing. I mean, that would take the pressure off of Jen having to look for topics. And I gotta get with it because, I feel like I'm not contributing. I have to come up with some topics because bro has really just burnt my brain out when it comes to topics for Corner Cauldron, and it's just like,
he definitely he digs down deep, and he does get a lot of information.
He does,
and he always finds those facts and stuff everywhere. So I mean, I applaud him.
Chef's kiss. Go, bro.
Because I mean, he digs down, he gets some information, and I like soaking all that in, and learning all kinds of new things. So.
There you go. All righty, Jen. Well, we've been on here for almost 2 hours.
Another good Monday night.
Another Monday night down in the books. Don't forget to come watch Corner Cauldron, same bat time, same bat channel on StreamYard with me and Jimmy, my brother from another mother, my WT, my Wonder Twin, on Corner Cauldron next Monday night. And then hopefully we'll get a string of these shows going on. And we'll be, wow,
Yeah.
Who knows? Anything else, Jen?
Nope, that's it. I hope everybody stays safe and going into the Halloween season coming up. I hope everybody's really being witchy.
Yes. We all got to keep it witchy, everybody. Stay witchy, like Joanne said. Please be careful. If you guys have little ones that go out trick-or-treating, please go with them. You know what? And just trick-or-treat safe if that's what you're doing this year. Keep it safe. Keep it friendly. That's what we need to do. But I'll be back next Monday on here yet again. You'll get to see this mug. Okie dokies. All right, artichokies. Keep it witchy, everyone. And as we always say, love, peace, and chicken grease, y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.